Hey everybody, wake up. This is Wake Up with Mark Joyner, episode number 121. And I don't want to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. Does that make me a bigot? Now, first off, let me preface this by saying I have friends of many faiths, including many Muslim friends, and my intention here is certainly not to offend them. Um, I care for those people a lot. I know a lot of folks are going to hear this and they're going to jump to all kinds of conclusions. So let me just go out there and say that. And I'm sure if I say that, some people are going to say, well, that's just the same thing as saying I have lots of black friends as an excuse to cover up your bigotry. All right, you choose. You judge that as you see fit. Now, you guys have noticed I haven't done too many of these. I've been extremely busy. I just finished, for example, a 4-day mastermind recently here in Phuket, which was a really, really wonderful event with some great people. Had a great time. That was 4 days of pretty much nonstop action and good times and good learning and good experiences and good transformation for a lot of people, I hope. Met some fantastic people there. And I certainly got a lot out of it, and I feel like I probably learned just as much as they did with the experience. And there's going to be a little bit more of that here over the next couple of weeks, but then I hope to be curtailing my travel quite a bit after that. I'm not really a big fan of traveling. Anyway, to the point, here. So this morning, when I woke up, I did my normal morning routine, and towards the end of the normal morning routine, I noticed something different. I was doing my Wim Hof breathing, and then after that, I like to sit down and just do a little bit of mindfulness, just check in with my body, see what my body needs, relax. Just listen in, listen to what's happening. Where are you feeling aches? Where are you feeling pains? Do you need rest? What is your body telling you? And a lot of us, by the way, we are blunting the signals that our bodies are telling us with all of the crap that we're putting in our bodies. If we are anesthetizing ourselves with food and alcohol and whatnot, we are often blind to the signals that our bodies are telling us. And I think that this creates a cascade effect of multiple problems. Anyway, whole different topic. So as I was there in my repose, which is normally peaceful and quiet up here in the place that I share with my buddies in the mountains of Phuket, there was something brand new this morning. In my repose, I suddenly started hearing the Muslim call to prayer. And it has been going on for about 40 minutes now. Now, normally when you hear the call to prayer, I always thought that it was a pretty quick thing, and then it would come, then it would go. And so far, it's 40 minutes now. Now, I haven't heard this in this area before, unless I have completely tuned it out, which I don't think is the case. It sounds like we have a brand new mosque in the area. So now I'm wondering, am I going to be hearing this 5 times a day? And it's quite loud, actually. It seems like it's pretty far away, but man, I mean, it's quite noticeable. And I felt it was interrupting the peacefulness and tranquility that I normally experience after my Wim Hof breathing every morning. I enjoy that. I enjoyed listening to nature. Now, am I saying that the Muslims should not do their call to prayer? No. But what I'm saying is where is the line drawn in terms of your personal freedom and you infringing on someone else's individual sovereignty? And this, by the way, is a much larger conversation, and it speaks to the larger conversation of multiculturalism. And I have some questions about whether or not the intentions of multiculturalism are exactly as they are presented to us. On the surface, it's like, hey, let's all live together as brothers and sisters, regardless of our skin tone, regardless of our genetic makeup, regardless of our ideological or religious beliefs. and let's live in harmony. I'm 100% behind that. And I'm a guy who has studied, most of the major religious texts in fairly good detail. I draw wisdom from all of them. I draw wisdom from a lot of different places, from a lot of strange locations, even places that people would consider to be forbidden. I don't believe in forbidden books. I read whatever the hell I goddamn want to. Now, but the question is this. Let me give you an interesting other example. So recently, and if my friends who were party to this watch this, I hope they don't mind me giving them a little bit of good-natured ribbing here. I'm not going to name their names, but my buddy Thomas Engberts and I were, when we first met in great detail. We met, last year, but then we met again when I was doing an event here in Phuket. And on one of the last days, I, was cooking some steaks in the kitchen where we were doing this event. The event was actually, held in this house. That's how pretty massive this house is. And a couple of the attendees are advocates of the plant-based diet. Sometimes known as vegans, but they like to distinguish themselves from vegans because they are not, as strict, and their reasons for it are different. They are strictly scientific vegans. They believe in the scientific case for veganism, or for not eating any animal products, and that's fine. That's their thing. Now, the thing was, so they kind of got in my face while I'm cooking my steak. They're like, we notice that your skin is red all the time. We think it's because of all the beef you're eating. And I said, well, it might have something to do with the fact that I'm in the sun every day as well. And they were telling me, we're concerned about your blood pressure. We're concerned about this. We're concerned about that. And I'm like, dude, I'm cooking my steak now. Maybe we can tone it down a little bit. And so I said, I tell you what, I'm going to eat this steak right now. Why don't we have a conversation about this over the steaks? And, we had an interesting, nuanced discussion about what can and cannot be known about diet. You guys have heard me rant about that a little bit. I don't believe in diet dogma. I don't think we have anywhere near enough information to be as dogmatic as most of us are about our dietary philosophies. And at the end of it, I don't feel like I changed their mind. And, Thomas Engberts, when I said that, I was kind of telling this story in the mastermind. I'm not mentioning the names of these two vegans, by the way, two plant-based guys. I love those two people, really lovely, beautiful people. Nothing against them at all. The point is not to, to call them out. But the story is interesting. Now, Thomas, when I told that story, I said, I don't think I changed their mind about, their dogma, because they have a dogmatic belief, Sorry, I think they do. They have a scientific justification for it, but they are rather rigid. Rather than saying, "Hey, this is what's working for me for now, and I'm seeing it," it's like, "No, this is the right thing." And then Thomas said, "Well, but nor did they change you of your opinion." And I said, but there's the difference. The difference is I'm not walking up to you and saying, "Hey, vegan, you need to eat meat. Why are you not eating meat?" I'm not in your face, okay? So there is a rather important distinction there. What does this have to do with what we're talking about with the Muslim call to prayer? Well, with the Muslim call to prayer, if it's broadcast on a loudspeaker that everybody in a community can hear, it's a similar kind of thing. It's like, hey, I want you to practice whatever religion you want, but do I need, so let's say, for example, could I put up a speaker and start blasting some hip hop music, at full blast every morning? Is that infringing on your freedom? And, let's say I'm doing a video, at some point, and I want to do the video, and then suddenly the call to prayer comes up and it interrupts the sound. I mean, I think this is a very, very important conversation, and I don't think most of us are thinking this through as deeply as we need to. And a lot of the people who are telling us, who are preaching tolerance to us, they are rather inconsistent about their preaching of tolerance. So, for example, we are told to be tolerant of people who follow Islam, and I am. And but at the same time, it is not okay to talk about the fact that there are some people who follow Islam, a great many, in fact. I don't know how the percentages break out, but they are quite intolerant of homosexuality, right? That is a rather stark inconsistency, if you ask me. And while some of the folks who are preaching at us in their message of multiculturalism that it is imperative of us to be tolerant of Islam, from the other side of their mouth, they are being very, very critical of Christianity and of Christians, and generalizing about particularly white Christians. That is the demon of the day for some of these folks who are adherents to this new orthodoxy of multiculturalism. I call bullshit. I see the inconsistency. And so if there's that inconsistency there, it makes me wonder, what is the actual agenda? If the actual agenda were like, hey man, let's all get together as brothers and sisters and let's all get along and let's talk about things peacefully, I'm 100% down. I am with you on that. But when you start infringing on the rights of some people and then you don't express the same kind of rigidity when it comes to other people, or you make exceptions, I'm wondering what your agenda is. And I question the agenda of multiculturalism as it has been presented to us in society. I don't question the surface values that they claim to be espousing. I am 100% for that. But I see the bullshittery in how it is being practiced around the world. And I think we need to be able to have a more nuanced conversation about this. And the reason why I started this with, am I a bigot? Because if I bring this up in certain contexts in the United States, there are people who will automatically go to, from zero to, you're a bigot, just like that. You must be an Islamophobe, right? There's always some kind of a phobe label that people slap on you if you try to have any kind of nuanced discussion about these things, right? I call bullshit on all that. And this is my call to prayer to all y'all to call bullshit on it too. Because when bullshit is bullshit, it needs to be called out. And I'm not going to be bullied by someone's bullshit label either. Peace to everybody.